Paducah Public Schools has a mixed history with girls' athletics. Girls' sports started in the early 1900s and lasted nearly 30 years until the time of the Great Depression. It wasn't until the federal government passed the civil rights law known as Title IX that high school girls' sports returned to Paducah. Throughout this time period, many women were integral to the creation, reintroduction, and sustainability of girls' athletics within the school system. In 1904, the women's suffrage movement was gaining ground as they protested and held rallies. More and more people were joining the movement. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, and Lucretia Mott were role models in this time, and they inspired others around them to get involved. Their efforts culminated in the passage of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1920. Paducah Public Schools introduced high school girls athletics in 1904 with 2 girls basketball teams. The superintendent at the time was C.M. Lieb. He said, "I think gymnastics are a necessity in education of both boys and girls." On June 4, 1914, Miss Ella Sorensen, who was a faculty member in charge of girls athletics, asked the school board to allow the girls basketball team to travel to other schools. Board President Hills voiced opposition to her proposal and said he was not in favor of games that had a tendency to make girls, quote, mannish. Dr. Delia Caldwell, another board member, said that there is a difference between being mannish and athletic, and that she knew a great number of athletic women who were quite feminine and far from being mannish. Sadly, girls basketball stopped in the 1916-1917 school year and didn't return until 1919. During 1919, the Board of Education approved Coach Sorensen's proposal. In 1921, the Kentucky High School Athletic Association hosted the first girls' state basketball tournament. In 1923, the Tillman girls team won the district championship and qualified to go to the tournament. The school decided not to send them, explaining they didn't have enough funding. Girls' athletics continued to thrive until 1932, when the girls' state tournament was discontinued. In 1932, the Great Depression was well underway. Unemployment was high, and many families struggled to put food on the table. Perhaps these funding issues were a factor behind the disappearance of girls' basketball. Most girls' sports disappeared in schools around the state. However, all girls' sports were gone at Tillman High School for 43 years. In 1975, thanks to a new federal law known as Title IX, basketball reappeared.
The Title IX law was passed in 1972. Title IX states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from the participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education, program, or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Before Title IX, there wasn't a lot of choices for young female athletes. The National College Association didn't even give out athletic scholarships for women. But after Title IX was passed, every school system had to provide equal opportunities to both sexes in activities such as sports and academics. Now everyone had the same number of options to do or play whatever they may choose. Title IX has allowed females more opportunities than ever before.
Title IX passed, there had to be equal sports for girls and for boys. You know, if there were 5 sports for boys, then there had to be 5 sports for girls. They didn't have to be the same thing, but they had to be equal. And Title IX just doesn't support girls. It supports fairness and equality in the area of sports.
Coach Betty Orms was the first coach for the Lady Tornadoes after the 43-year break. She led the team to the state tournament in 1975, the team's first year back from the hiatus.
Coach Orms was the person who actually brought basketball back to Paducah Tillman in the 70s. And Tillman had some really good girls teams back in those days. if I'm not mistaken, they went to regional tournaments most every year.
You know, Mrs. Orms was a very kind woman. She also expected a lot out of you, and she expected you to come to practice, to be on time. It's all those soft skills that they talk about in jobs now. Mrs. Orms expected you to have those. You showed up on time, you did what you were supposed to, and you stayed away from those things that you were supposed to too.
The Tillman girls team lost 50-46 against Lexington Tate's Creek at the state tournament in 1975. Coach Orms also led the 1977 Tillman girls basketball team to the state tournament. The team lost in the first round to Ashland. However, the 1977 team won 27 games and lost 4 games during the regular season.
Both the administration at Paducah Tillman High School, we had a lot of fans. We were a winning team, and when you're a winning team, you usually have a lot of fans, and we were no exception because of that. Both the boys and girls team that year won the district and the region. So yeah, we were supported well by our administration, our fans, and we got a lot of coverage in the newspaper as well. Again, because Tillman had a winning team that year too, because I was able to be a supportive player, I learned first skills that could help the team. I had to learn how to work as a member of a team, so team play. And then also because I got a scholarship to play basketball, it continued my education and it helped decrease the financial burden on my family.
Girls' sports have grown dramatically at Paducah Public Schools since the 1975 Betty Orms team. Now, not only can girls play basketball, but they can play golf, tennis, softball, volleyball, soccer, cross country, and run track. Local female athletes continue to break barriers for the Tornado. Last fall, the Paducah Tillman High School chose a girl kicker for the football team.
There wasn't trouble getting on the team because since they were struggling to find a kicker, like that spot was open, but there was struggle with like becoming a part of the team. It was a little bit hard to gain their respect, the team's respect, like being the only female, but it all worked out in the end. So
Paducah Public Schools has come a long way since the early 1900s when the game stopped because people thought basketball was too mannish. Title IX changed the way people thought about girls' sports forever. As long as there are girls out there breaking barriers, this is just the beginning.